This is Coming Up Roses. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Kelly, and this is your Saturday, April 23rd edition, episode 58.
58.
Of Coming Up Roses.
58.
I saw on Facebook that the guy who
started
Route 58 died. Yeah.
Route 58, if you're not aware, is on it's on the boulevard. It's a delicatessen that decided they were just going to do like New York deli type stuff. Their sandwiches are huge. And they also have these cheesecakes that are just incredibly huge. So everything they do there is huge, but it's real good too. It's tasty, real tasty stuff. I went in there one time with my buddy Rich, and God, that man can eat. That man throws down some food. But we went in there, and he said, try the Reuben dogs. They're good. So they give you 2 big hot dogs, and they're covered with Reuben-style sandwich stuff. And I got through one of them, and then got through about half of the second one. And I had to stop, and the waitress was like, oh, thank God, we thought you were actually going to finish the second one. No one's ever been able to do that. I was like, oh, shit.
Their motto is, if you finish it, we've done something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that guy's passed. So.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
Nothing really big going on this week in our little world. Back to work after spring break.
Well, we've started a journey. You more so than me, but
we'll get to that.
Okay.
I guess we just jump right into it.
We'll just jump right into it. Yeah.
I got some thing in the mail back in March about a program called Wonder. WONDR, and it's a year-long weight loss wellness management program. And my school benefits, pay for it. So I was like, well, what have I got to lose? I'm in the middle of a arthritis storm. I don't, at this point, not even sure I want to call it a flare-up, because it's been going on for 3 weeks, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bad. It's like I'm in pain 24/7. Even at night, it wakes me up from dead sleep, in my knees and in my hip. Basically, my entire right leg from the hip to the ankle is now hurting, because I'm compensating so much for the knee that it's messing up a lot of other things.
Plus, there's the additional 15-pound weight at your legs every night when you go to bed.
The dog doesn't help, because she sleeps so that I can't move easily, and my legs are cut, off to the side because she takes. It's a story. Anyway, so I decided to try this Wonder and see. So I applied for it and it got approved and started it on Monday. So what it is like every week you get a series of videos that you watch, and they send you all these materials. And so you watch these videos, and there's a different theme every week. And there, like this week, there was like a challenge, and you set a goal for yourself for the week and that kind of thing. Track your weight every day. And so this first week was just learning about hunger levels.
Yeah.
And there's these 4 levels, and really the best place to eat is at a level 3. And so this week was just tracking when you feel like you're at those levels. And when you feel like you're at a level 2, when you want to start thinking about eating, don't eat. Because that's when your body's starting to feel hungry, so it's pulling on reserves that you already have. And if you're eating on top of that, you're just not getting anywhere. So that's what I've spent this week doing, noticing when I'm actually hungry, hungry enough to eat a meal. And I have found out that I'm not really a morning eater, especially during the work week. Today was difficult. This morning was hard. We eat lunch at school at 10:55. The kids go to lunch. So my lunch is 10:55 to 11:25. That's super early.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't eat breakfast anymore. What I've started doing is drinking this, which the program calls H2 Orange, which is 1 part orange juice to 7 parts water. So for every 8-ounce glass of water, just 1 ounce of orange juice. It's a way to hydrate yourself, plus you get a little kick of flavor
Juice,
and yeah. So I drink that in the morning, and I drink water in the morning, and then I eat my normal lunch at school. The hardest part for me, I start to feel really hungry around 4 o'clock, and waiting until an actual dinner time. But that's always been my hardest part. Between, I would say, 3:30 and 5:30 every day are my...
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
So next week or one of these weeks coming up, it's the in-between meal snacks, which, I already know it shouldn't be chips and candy and that kind of thing. But just finding better alternatives. Like this week I did have some almonds and some dried cranberries.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of helped me out on one day. And then another part of the first week is just completely detoxing off of sugar.
Yeah.
So I haven't been crazy like looking at the meals I'm and their sugar content. Like I haven't looked at...
You're not like looking at carb count.
No, but I have not done Starbucks all week.
Mm-hmm.
And because we are not doing breakfast, I'm not doing breakfast anymore. We're not going to Chick-fil-A every day.
So we're really screwing up the local economy.
Saving our own money, but...
Yeah. Well, I'll just so you folks know, I still spend a little bit of money because I'll go to Wawa. Because Wawa's got a breakfast bowl that's really, really good.
You spend as much on that breakfast bowl as we normally spend at Chick-fil-A for both of us.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a big bowl and it's good.
But
it's
I am
better
not...
than the Chick-fil-A bowl.
Yeah, okay. Well, the Chick-fil-A bowl doesn't have much in it. That's probably why it's cheaper. So anyway, coming off the sugar really wasn't that hard, aside from the Starbucks cravings, which I'm sure there's a lot more than just sugar at play there.
Yeah.
Stress and caffeine and, a lot of other things. The only day that really was a struggle for me was yesterday. Friday, coming home. It was a tough week just because of getting back into after spring break. We started some major end of the year testing, so that's pretty much all I did in small group was math
May's
testing.
Happening early?
It's pretty much, that's what it feels like.
Oh my God. For you folks that not to know, May for teachers and teaching staff at all grade levels is suck. It's always suck because that's when all the testing is done.
And see,
blah, blah, blah.
in kindergarten, we thankfully don't do the SOLs.
Right.
That's the biggie. But we do a math test called the VKRP, which is a long test, and we have to give them one-on-one. So it's
17 kids.
Mm-hmm. And you can't keep the kid through the whole test start to finish. It's too long.
Yeah, for a 5-year-old?
For a 5-year-old.
Span's got to be, what, 10 minutes?
The materials management side of it, it's like one question, you're using plastic shapes that you have to give them certain shapes. So you're looking through all your shapes to give the shapes out. And then they do that activity and you take the shapes away and then you give them these red and yellow chips for the next activity. And then you take that away and then you give them these cards with patterns on them. So you're just constantly managing materials.
Yeah.
The whole time. It's really a pain in the neck. But I got through all of that testing. I finished it in 1 week, which was, I did not think I'd get it all done in 1 week.
That's crazy.
I did have some help. One of the teachers I work with, tested a few of the kids. So that helped out a lot. And then looking at the results, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
3 kids fell below end of year benchmark. 2 of them were only 1 point below the benchmark.
Mm.
And then the other one is one that gave me a half effort because he just wants to do what he wants to do. And it doesn't matter what I'm asking him to do. So he was just playing with the materials and I couldn't get him to answer any of the questions. So
That's what
he actually has some of the knowledge, which is the sad part.
Yeah.
But so lots of my kids made tons of growth and I was really happy with that because It's been a rough year
Mm-hmm.
for me instructionally. And so, how did I get onto that? I don't know how I got onto that. Anyway, giving up the Starbucks maybe?
Yeah.
I was
Friday was bad.
Friday was very stressful for me. And I was exhausted. Like when the kids went to PE, they go to PE last, thank God. They left for PE at like 2:40 and I just wanted to put my head down on the table and take a nap. I was so tired. Probably because I haven't had any sugar or caffeine all week.
Yeah.
And I'm in pain all the time, in pain. It hurts to sit, like right now. My lower back and my knee, it just aches. And I can't get it to stop.
I wish I could help.
So, anyway, started week 1 will be finished. I started on Monday. I started my weigh-ins on Tuesday. I've lost 5 pounds already.
Yeah. She's been real good about it.
So that part is exciting. I can continue on that. I'm happy about that. My orthopedic doctor said every pound you lose is 4 pounds off of your joints. So if I want to believe that, that's 20 pounds I've taken off of my knees in this past 5 days. So anyway, that's good. So next week's topics, let's see. In the program, I find myself, I'm not one who really depends on a lot of,
What do you?
I don't know, my iPad's just doing whatever it wants to do right now. It's very annoying. Probably because I had the Huffington Post up and it didn't like that. It's just not doing anything I want
I didn't
to
even
do.
know they were still around.
Yeah. What is going on? I don't know. I'm not one that needs a big accountability section, like people who are like trying to keep me accountable. Actually, that hits me in different ways. Or at least I thought. And then I've just been telling everybody about this week, and so
You've been on Facebook about it. You were funny though. She saw this thing, Krispy Kreme. You'll have to repost it in the Coming Up Roses Facebook, but it was funny. The Krispy Kreme is apparently doing these Cinnabon type things.
cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon
that they
rolls.
make like the glazed donuts.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. Coming up with some shit like that after we're trying to be good, right?
I saw that on Friday, and Friday night when I was going to bed, and I'm like, motherfucker. Like,
Yeah.
I have fought so hard today, this was yesterday, to like stay away from the sugar and make good choices and not go for that piece of candy at the middle of the day. And
Yeah.
then I come home and I'm, hurting. I went to bed at like 8. Probably even before that, I probably went to bed at 7:30.
Yeah.
And I slept until Kevin came to bed at 10:15 or so. And then I woke up and I saw that and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So yeah, I posted, what kind of fresh hell is this? These assholes at Krispy Kreme, what the hell are you trying to do?
Donut hole assholes.
Donuts are a-holes.
Donuts are a-holes.
Yeah. And then today, this morning, I got up, and not only was it just like a picture of it, they had a video of how they make them. I'm like, oh, you're killing me.
Remember when Krispy Kreme didn't need to advertise? Fuckers. Now you're just throwing your freaking crack cocaine out there on the streets.
So week 1 was essential skills explained. So basically just gauging when you're hungry, keeping off sugar, tracking your weight, just being aware. Next week is a taste test, which last week we talked about the Pringles and the popcorn they sent along in their kit. And I'm realizing now it's because I've been off the sugar. So because I've been off sugar all week, those things are going to taste different. Although I still eat Pringles for lunch every day, so I don't know. I eat the little pack of Pringles at lunchtime every day.
Yeah, well, I'm going to switch you off.
We're switching that out, I know.
I got our, what they call balance breaks from Sargento. It's cheese, nuts, and dried
Cranberries, which are so delicious.
Yeah. They also have them they have a large variety. They even have some they call breakfast breaks, but they're not terribly expensive as far as those snacks go, and they're
it's better than
pretty well proportioned.
a pack of potato chips.
Yeah.
We weren't ready in the house for me to switch my eating habits.
No,
last
because
week.
freaking Easter basket's
We
still
did-
sitting on the TV stand.
I haven't touched it.
Yeah, well.
We did take off the. I eat peanut butter and jelly every day.
Mhm.
We did take the jelly off the sandwich. So
Mhm.
Kevin makes me a peanut butter sandwich every day, and the Pringles, which we're switching out. But peanut butter's not bad for you.
Yeah, it's peanut butter.
It's
So.
some good protein in there. So anyway, like I
We
said,
got-
I'm not counting sugars and all of that stuff.
I had to pick up a new tankard of peanut butter. I was looking
the
at all
4-pound
the,
tub that we got
yeah.
accustomed to having.
Well, I was like, I could get this regular, the small one, the good size one, or the tankard. And I said, well, fuck it, we got room for the tankard.
Well, we got it one time from Walmart when we ordered. They were out of the size we ordered, so they gave us the 4-pound can.
Mm.
And we laughed. We're like, holy Jesus, a 4-pound can of peanut butter, and that's what we've bought ever since then because I eat a lot of peanut butter. Actually.
Yeah, me too.
So next week is taste tests and calorie counting, which I will admit intimidates me a little bit. That's when I start to get in the weeds.
Does their app have a calorie counter?
It has you can.
Like food tracker at all?
Yeah, I mean you just track what you're eating though. It doesn't count nutritional content.
Oh, so it's not like what's the other one like
MyFitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, no.
They were great in the
See,
beginning.
I get
but
in
they
the
started
weeds with that. I
charging.
become too. I become overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So baby steps.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Week 3 is setting goals and handling stress.
That'll be a big one.
So
for
you take a quiz at the beginning,
That'll be in the middle of May.
and then they gear, from what I understand, they gear your program toward your particular eating style.
Yeah.
So I found out I was an emotional eater, but I didn't need Wonder to tell me that. And then week 4, managing sugar and tracking progress. So it's like a 12-week, and then another 12-week program, and then another 12-week program, and then like a 28-week maintenance. So anyway, that's where I'm at. One thing I did, since being more like mentally aware of when I'm feeling hungry and when I choose to eat and all of that, I've also become aware of all the sabotaging I do to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got up, did I started weighing in on Tuesday. And then, I mean, it was Wednesday or Thursday. In the morning, as I was getting ready for work, in my head, I was just like, I don't know why you think this is going to work. Like, we've tried program after program, thing after thing. You're always excited at the beginning. It falls apart. You never stick with it, blah, blah, blah. And, like, in mid-thought, I was like, why am I talking to myself like this? You know? This is the problem.
Yeah.
I am strong enough to do this. If I'm strong enough to get up with the arthritis pain and all the back pain and all of this and go to work with 5-year-olds all day long, yelling and screaming at me, and like the fight that is sometimes, and it's fun, but it's exhausting work. If I'm strong enough to do that,
Mm-hmm.
I can avoid drinking Starbucks and like making better food choices.
Yeah.
And so it's just about how you talk to yourself. You know, I am not very good at being a positive thinker toward myself.
Yeah.
I tend to put myself down, and
And,
I mean, a
and
lot
you
of
don't
times
even
Kevin will
accept it.
say, whatever, when he says I love you, and my answer to him a lot of times is I don't understand why. You know, like,
You understand why.
it's just,
You understand
I
why.
feel like I'm more trouble than,
Anybody watching this show understands why.
I don't need people to, I need myself to understand why.
Well,
So that's what I'm working
I'll
on.
work on that.
That's what I'm working on.
Comment in the comments how and why you love my wife.
Listen, don't. I appreciate it. I do. You're awesome. But I need to figure it out.
I know.
So
Maybe somebody out there can tell you why and give you at least an avenue to go down. This
I'm
is
not
why people love
asking
me.
for that. I'm
I know
not
you're not
asking
asking
for
for
that.
I keep telling
And
you.
like I said, I don't need a lot of that positive rah-rah stuff.
All right.
Like it, I need to feel it for myself.
Okay.
And so I will admit, we will talk about this. I wasn't going to talk about this, but after all my fighting to, all that mental, emotional, and I'm not going to do the sugar yesterday. And I got up this morning and I weighed myself and I was 0.5 higher than yesterday.
Yeah.
And I came out, it was like 5. I was having a dream about eating candy bars. And I woke up like, in my dream, I was like, oh my God, I haven't weighed in today. Why am I eating this candy? Like, literally, that was the dream I was having when I woke up. It was 5:30. So I got up and went to the bathroom, whatever, like, weighed myself, was 0.5 more. And I'm like...
And you came out and you were a little bummed about it.
I was. I said, I feel like I accomplished something yesterday by passing when I normally wouldn't have. It wouldn't have even been a second thought. On a normal day, I would have been in that line at Starbucks with that venti cafe vanilla frappuccino, probably a piece of pumpkin bread or banana bread, that first smell coming out the window, and filling up on chips or whatever I could get my hands on when I got home. Like, that would have been my normal Friday, and it was hard not to do that. And then I step on the scale and I've actually gained weight. And I was like,
a minuscule
why?
amount of weight.
But why? So,
I don't know why
Mr. Hilton is calling you?
Yeah, they've been calling me for a week. I don't understand why.
They want us to go on a vacation?
They do. Too bad.
So, I gave myself a little time.
What did I tell you, though? I said that you were probably either retaining water or something, or...
It was a fluke.
You know.
I waited a while and went, to the bathroom again and weighed myself again, and then I was lower than yesterday. So I don't know if it was just a freak thing with the scale or if I'm really 0.5, but mentally I feel better because now it was lower than yesterday. So that's the second weight, was the one I logged, of course. Whatever. I mean, like, those are the things that frustrate me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, what was the point? And I get, for someone my size, half a pound is nothing. I mean, that's
a
it
rounding
could be a
error.
Monthly, it's whatever thing.
Yeah, that's a rounding error. That's really all that is.
But anyway, that's where my brain goes, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, yeah, and
It's
that's
the way
why
I see things.
But that's why I like this program, because I think it's kind of like Noom, where they talk about the psychology of the eating and not just the actual, carb counting or anything else. So I think that's a good thing for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is going to work out.
Well, we'll see.
You've been doing real good on it. I've been on my own little journey. I've been trying to cut the carbs again. I'll admit that I have had trouble because there is that candy sitting right on top of the TV stand. So I suck at that. But me and Mike this morning, we went over to the rec center and we joined the rec center again, which I was we went there before, and we were going for a while, and then that's when her leg got started going bad, and then we had the issues with you and the gallbladder and everything. But I need to get, she's not going to be able to go to a gym right now, maybe in the future, but I can, and I need, really what I need is the elliptical, because I need to get my cardio up. So they had ellipticals, they had recumbent bikes, they have recumbent bikes with the as well. They had all the other stuff. They had a lot of weight training stuff, which I'm not going to try to get into any of that. That seems like advanced shit for strength training, and I'm not right now. I just want to.
How often are you going to go?
I think after I drop you off, I can't do it Monday, because after I drop you off Monday, I got to go get blood work done.
Yeah, but what are you gonna try and get into a routine of doing it on
I'm
certain
gonna
days?
do it. I'm gonna try 3 days a week.
Okay.
I'm gonna do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay. Well, Mike's gonna want you to go with him on Saturdays too.
And then Saturdays. Yeah, I guess Saturdays.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good.
And then I gotta squeeze in some OT so I can knock one of these occurrences off from the hospital stay. I'm pretty good about my occurrences, but I'm a little up on the list.
Well, you had the little issue over the week last week, but
yeah. So yeah, that's my plan, and I got doctor's appointments coming up. I got an appointment with Dr. Jones in a couple weeks, and then I got to figure out when my appointment is with Dr. Bev, because
I want to say it's probably the same. Because didn't you switch times with Mom?
I did, but I got to call them and find out the day.
That should be something you do before you go to work all these days of the week.
Yeah, it should be. Well, I tried, because when I looked at the appointment for Dr. Jones, which was in my calendar, it was for like 12:30, and I was like, oh shit, I can't do that. So I was going to call and reschedule, and I was like, dealing with the front office at the First Colonial is not great. If Jones wasn't there, we wouldn't be there. But Jones is like a great doctor, so got to put up with their front office bullshit. They had me on hold for like 10 minutes, and I was still had the number 6 in the queue. So I'm like, no. So when I got home, I was like, well, maybe I can see about getting half a day cut off in the morning, or the beginning part of my shift, and I did. I was able to cut out half a day. So I'll have to start working until 3 o'clock on Wednesday, on the 4th.
Mm.
Wednesday the 4th, not this coming Wednesday, but the Wednesday after. Mm. So there's that.
Yes.
This is the exciting things in our lives.
No excitement here. So anyway, that's just been the busy thing this week. Is
just starting to take care of ourselves. So
heard on the news on the way to work. Oh, the other benefit of this is I have a lot more time in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we don't have to leave as early, which is kind of nice.
The poor folks at Chick-fil-A aren't going to know what to do.
Well, they'll be all right.
Yeah. They'll be pretty all right.
He stopped saying that after our episode on him saying pretty all right.
Yeah. We were wondering if he's actually watching our show.
Someone might have said something to him. Heard on the news on the way to work one day that Florida, DeSantis in Florida, I don't know what the word cancel. Took away Disney's self-government, and I didn't even know until that Disney had its own government.
Yeah.
In Florida.
So what it is originally when Walt Disney built the park in Florida, they had basically set up a carve-out. So at the time they were redistricting Florida, and they made the park area, it's like 2,600 acres of area that they just said, okay, this is your district. So you don't have a representative of your own. This is just your own independent district. So they don't
have a representative?
As far as I understand, they do not have a representative. Okay. Now, I don't know if anyone lives there in the park or not, but they don't have a representation in the state legislature.
Mickey Mouse in their state legislature. Yeah. That'd be hilarious. Goofy got elected.
Fuck you. Of course. So anyway, they've had this carve out since like the early '60s. I mean, it's been around for since the park's been there. They have their own fire department. They have their own police department. They have their own courts. I guess I don't know if it's a criminal court. I don't know how that works, but basically they do their own sanitation, the whole nine. They do their own stuff. They're self-governed. And then once the thing came out about the parental rights and education, or some people call it the Don't Say Gay bill, came out, Disney at first were like, we're not getting involved with any of this. We're going to be apolitical. And then they got pressured from certain groups, and then they said, all right, well, we're full tilt against this bill. And then going on and on and on. And the Florida legislature and Ron DeSantis said, well, okay, well, you don't have your carve out anymore because they're redistricting. And they just said, well, we're just going to do away with your special district. So now you're part of this county. And they were all freaked out because it's a big tax break for them too. Huge tax break for them for the state taxes. So
I don't know where I fall. I don't know enough about it to have a solid opinion on it one way or the other, but I hate when government uses hot button issues to it just seems to me that the state of Florida used it as a punishment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if Disney's its own district and its own, then they have the right to support or not support.
Right.
So and I guess the way that they wrote it left it open so that they can go back, they can renegotiate and go back to them being their own. I don't know enough about it. I know that the main concern for people was in grades K through 3.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of content? I can tell you as a kindergarten teacher,
Mm-hmm.
if a child comes to me with questions like that or brings those topics into the classroom, you can't dismiss them.
Right.
You have to accept and love and listen to the child. As far as it being a specific thing I'm teaching in my curriculum, I don't know where I sit on that.
Right.
Because I know that I read books, like the literature I read, the characters in the books are very diverse. You want every kid to be able to see themselves in what you're teaching. That's how you make connections to kids. That's how they learn. So, if a kid talks in morning meeting about having 2 moms or 2 dads, it's just a normal part of conversation. Family structures are different.
Yeah.
Some people live with their grandparents. Some people, Dad's got the grabby.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there should be like you can't talk about those things because you're going to talk about them. You have kids in your class, they have experiences, and you can't tell teachers on one hand it's all about relationships, and then on the other hand say, but you're not allowed to talk about any of this.
Right.
Because if you really want me to build a relationship with the kid, I have to be able to have conversations with them on whatever they bring to me.
Right.
So you can't expect me to know my students and teach them, but then forbid me from talking about things that are very important to them.
Right.
But on the other hand, as for it being curriculum that I'm presenting to all of the students, I just don't know where I feel about that.
Yeah.
And then some of the things we've seen lately are very sexually explicit. And I don't think those things need to be in the public school system.
Yeah.
Whether they're between gay people or straight people or trans people, the sexual explicit content really doesn't belong, in my opinion. And I don't think that, in kindergarten we're certainly not being sexually explicit.
Right.
But I'm not sure that's even appropriate in high school.
Right.
So, but then again, what do I know?
Well, I tell you, I do agree 100% with you that the company should not be punished for a political belief or for standing up against the government. I think that's wrong.
Right.
I would be curious as if Universal has the same type of carve out. Because Universal's got a huge resort down there too.
Yeah, but you don't see anything about that. So.
Yeah, so I don't know if Universal has that or not. If Universal does, then they really
Universal,
should be,
I wouldn't think is as big as Disney.
Probably not. Although they've got some good size there at Universal, so I don't know. But either way, I don't think the government should be using its power ever to punish people for a political stance, or even if you defy the government. If you're in defiance of the government, that's patriotic. I'm going to be as consistent as I possibly can. If I stood with the truckers in Canada, I'm going to stand with Disney on this. I might not necessarily agree with their stance, but that's, I don't think the government should be out punishing companies or individuals for their political stance. If they say, no, government, you shouldn't do this, then you're right. The government should not do this. You can say that without fear of punishment. So for them to say we're going to take this carve out, no, that's wrong. Either leave the carve out there or give the same carve out to Universal, or don't do it for anybody. You're government. You're supposed to be impartial.
Agreed.
So now everybody knows that's not really the case, and that's one of the strongest cases for a very extremely limited government. But who the fuck am I? I'm just some dumb guy. So
No. It says Universal is a 520 acre. I doubt it has the same.
Yeah, but
weight
so they're not
as
saying it doesn't have
Walt
the same
Disney
carve
World.
out.
Yeah, it didn't.
Then if Universal
what
didn't
I
have the
glanced
carve
at.
out, then Disney should have never gotten the carve out.
Disney brings a lot of money to Florida, though.
You can't do for one and not the other.
I wonder if Disney in California has the same deal.
I don't know. California's so. You know what? I forgot to tell you about this. Heard this on a podcast I was listening to this morning. California just cannot stop just shitting itself. They have trying to push through its legislature because they figure this will help get people back to work. They want to establish a 4-day work week.
Yeah. I heard
So they're going to force companies that if they have 500 employees or more, that they're going to enforce a 4-day work week.
Or pay the overtime on the 5th day.
Or pay the overtime on the 5th day. Still making the same pay as you're working less hours but getting the same pay. So you're getting 40 hours worth of pay at 32 hours worth of work, and then having to do time and a half for anything over that. And they expect businesses to say, yeah, fuck, that's great, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to pack my shit up and leave. Why would I pack my shit up and leave if you're just making everything so incessantly crazy,
They'll just
expensive,
put everybody
and
on
difficult
hourly
to work
pay.
out? No, they'll put people on salary is what they'll do. You make $32,000 a year, that's it. Doesn't matter how many hours you work. You have to work when,
Well, that's what I don't, on the books, technically work 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it's assumed teachers work outside of contract hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's I don't even know, it's a minuscule number of hours. Let me see, hold on.
But that's what that's what businesses are going to have to do. They're going to have to restructure their businesses or they're going to get out of California. Because why would you do that?
I get paid I clock in, I sign in for 36, almost 37 hours. So, but, there's an understanding that you participate in after-school faculty meetings, PTA stuff, at homework, which we all do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. My school system's having a little bit of a panic right now because our neighboring school system is raising teacher salaries by 10%. And we are not. And so they are very afraid a lot of our teachers, which they already can't hire as many teachers as we need. We're 100 and something positions short. Will seek positions in our neighboring city, which I know for a fact is happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got to work that out. The funny thing is, though, if I talked about my job and the things that need to change, salary is not even in the top 5 things I would complain about. That need in education, not specifically where I work.
Now, do you make more than most because you have a master's?
I get a $2,500 stipend a year.
I guess that's not enough to really make that much of a difference, I don't think. So I was thinking maybe that your
because then that's
perspective would be
tax. So how
different.
much am I really making?
Yeah.
Yes, more than someone with just a bachelor's degree, but not a great deal more.
Yeah.
I get paid a little bit more a year because I'm a grade level chair. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Cash App is $.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain about my salary. Anyway. What did you have that you wanted to talk about today?
Let's see, what was the thing? Well, we went over the Florida thing, was the California thing. The other thing that I was going to talk about is that one of the things that I like to do in the morning is I'll take a moment and I'll watch whatever's streaming. And I was trying to find something to watch, and then I ended up on something that I've already watched, and already watched several times. And I went to the tried and true Monk, which I haven't really watched in forever. It was one of my favorite shows of all time.
It hadn't been that long.
And it's been a couple years. It's been quite a few years. And I started watching again. And you know what?
Oh, no.
That is just, no, I'm just watching. We don't even know I'm doing it. You haven't even noticed I've been doing it. I'm on season 3.
Okay.
So, But it's just really good TV. It's free on TikTok or Peacock.
You get it 3 minutes at a time.
Peacock. And you know what? Go watch it, folks. It's just a good show. It's a really interesting character. So yeah, that was it.
Okay, just that you're watching Monk again.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always like to make recommendations to folks. That's I think one of the more interesting characters. It's basically based on Sherlock Holmes. Except he's as much as the original defective detective was Columbo, this guy is way more defective than Columbo. He's got real hang-ups. But like one of the things I find interesting about the character is that he's got all these hang-ups, he's got all these fears, but when he's sitting there looking at somebody who he knows is the killer, he knows it. He's got no fear of that person whatsoever. Like he totally will look him dead in the face and you are the guy. Mm-hmm. You're the guy. I'm going to take you down.
Well, he had the script. He knew he was the guy.
Yeah, well, but still, I mean, I think that's interesting as hell.
Well, I found some of the top 20 funniest tweets from women this week.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just read a few, I guess. One time in college, I was so mad a guy rejected me, I updated my Facebook status to who even really cares. And it wasn't until a week later I realized I posted that on the anniversary of 9/11.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
That's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
We have plumbers working in our house. I just heard one of them say, lefty loosey, righty tighty. I know we're in good hands. Here's one that kind of makes me giggle. One of my greatest joys in life is when Jeff calls the vet to make an appointment and they ask for his name and he says Jeff. Then they ask for our cat's name and I watch him gather his strength before he tells them baby Jeff. Here's one you'll enjoy. Today was my brother's birthday party. We discussed my brother's middle name, Arturo, which is Arthur in Spanish. My mom said there was a popular Star Wars character loved in Peru named Arturito, so we went with that. And I said, wait, do you mean R2-D2? And Dad said, yes, the robot.
Oh my God. Little Jokers thing, they routinely will use a fictitious company they call Maya Soul, and then whatever the company is for, whether it's receptions or whatever they're doing. The company name is Maya Soul, and people thought, wow, that's such a great name, and they named their kids Maya Soul. Well, as it turns out, Maya Soul is just a clever way for them to say my asshole on television. So there's kids
still doing
out there named My Asshole.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I don't know. I got this from the Huffington Post. These are not really that funny. Yeah. The DMV be like, you forgot to bring the Declaration of Independence. Which reminds me of my visit with the DMV the last time I had to go.
Oh my God. When
4 times it took
star.
me to get the little real ID star on my license. Because I got married and I changed my name. I had to have my marriage license, all this crazy shit. And he just gets to walk in there with next to nothing. I still think that was sexist, by the way.
And the thing about that is you go back and you have the stuff they asked for. And it's, oh, you don't have this? Why don't you tell me I needed that the last time, you bitch?
Right. They would tell me one thing I needed, and then I would come back and they're like, oh, okay, now you need this. And I was like...
You just want to throw punch the people, but they have armed guards there. They don't have armed guards at your kid's school, but they got armed guards at the fucking DMV. What's that tell you?
Yeah. Too much body positivity on my feed. Humans are disgusting. Skin is gross. We have so many holes. It's a skeleton inside. Uncomfortable seeing just one of us in public.
That's weird.
I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, Huffington Post failed on that one, people. Sorry.
Failed.
All right, so we're at 45 minutes. We should wrap this segment up.
Let's move on to, what do you want to do, theticals? You want to do some therapy?
I feel like I could use some therapy this week.
Let's do some therapy. We're going to do some therapy.
All right, we'll be back in a few.
All right, everybody. And we're back. And we're going to do therapy.
Do-it-yourself therapy.
Do-it-yourself therapy.
Blind do-it-yourself therapy. What could go wrong?
So we've been talking a lot about self-care today. This is part of it.
Is that what it is? Self-care?
Yeah, sure.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
All right. What habit of yours needs to change ASAP?
Ooh.
We just spent 45 minutes talking
Yeah, we just talked about that. But basically, I do need to stop eating the goddamn candy from the Easter basket. So I need to stop that right now. Honestly, it's difficult. There's the temptations right there. What was more tempting was Mike brought home goddamn cookies last night.
I know. I saw them too.
And the especially when they're oatmeal raisin.
But,
oh my God.
But here's the thing. You can't stop other people from eating what they want to eat.
I know.
So you have to work on yourself and your ability to not do it.
I need to do better about it.
I have something, but I don't want to humiliate you on. I have a skill or a habit that you could need to change ASAP.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What's that?
But I don't know if I want to say it because it might embarrass you.
All right. Well, you're going to say it. Go ahead.
Huh? No, I'm not going to say it unless you give me permission.
I don't even know what it is, so sure. Go
Want me
for
to
it.
whisper it to you?
Sure. Oh. She said I was farting and groaning. I've talked about shitting on myself before. I'm going to fart. I probably farted on the show.
Do that, and then instead of just being quiet or saying, oh, excuse me, he goes, oh, I farted. Like, we don't know. And it doesn't matter who's in the room, where we are. He has zero control over it. Zero control. And when it's just him and I, it doesn't bother me. But when other people are around, it's like, really, dude? Come on. Just... There's
that's
no
not
use...
me, that's the dog.
Yeah, that's the dog growling. If you pick that up on the mic, that's the dog growling at the Grabby.
Man, if I could fart on command like that, it's like a superpower.
Give it a minute. But yeah, it's not so much the act of farting, it's the comments and
the groaning.
Like you just had to work at it, and then, I farted. I'm like, God, you're like a boy, like a little boy.
I'm a man boy.
Okay.
And I can't believe you didn't just blurt
I
that
almost
out.
started just combating it, but then I thought, no, he'd probably enjoy that if I started doing that too.
If you're feeling low, what's your trick to feeling better?
Was this rigged?
It was not rigged. You picked them at random.
All right, I'll tell you, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, last week I would have said Starbucks. That's generally my trick to feeling better. But all of that aside, since we're making a new,
good people.
Changing our mindset, my favorite podcast, really I listen to a few podcasts, but the only one I listen to, like, faithfully, is Tell 'em Steve Dave. And they're on episode 500 something, 600 something, I don't know, they're up there. They've been around for 10, 11 years. But they released the first 300 episodes in iTunes, and so I went back, because I started listening way late in their journey. Mm-hmm. And so I went back and started listening from episode 1, and that is really what I put on to make myself feel better. Yeah. Because if you listen to it, you can't listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave if you get offended at things. No.
Honestly, I can't believe they haven't been canceled.
Yeah, there are a lot of times where, like, how are they getting away with this? Even 10 years ago, some of the comments they make, the things they say, but, like, realistically, they're very open to everything. Mm-hmm. But they make jokes. They support, one of the guys has adopted his niece who has Down syndrome, and the way he cares for her and talks about her, it's the sweetest thing, but he's this gruff, guy in his 60s with like a long beard and
tats and
the foul language and inappropriate. Sometimes the sexual side of it gets to be a little too much for me. But the way they are together, when the three of them are on, because there's 3 guys that do this podcast, and then they have a host of other people that come in and out. The way they've organically grown, they had a really good friendship for decades before they started podcasting together.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to them laugh at each other and poke fun at each other and give each other shit, and the way they can just let it roll off or go with the joke, and some of the things, like sometimes the things are so hysterically funny, but I always laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I always laugh. And so that to me has been, what I put on to make me feel better, I think. I will listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave all the time.
There you go.
What about you?
For me, like I said, I'll try to find something that I find interesting, either something I haven't seen before or I haven't seen in a while. That's why I went back to Monk. I always have go-tos, like the Batman cartoon. That's always a good go-to. Jaws, if I can find it. I love watching Jaws. Or if I try to find something that looks interesting, even if I just have it on in the background at work, so that if I'm on a rough call, I just glance over and it's like, okay, the life is still continuing on. So I can, I have a difficult job. Not as difficult as yours, but I take a beating for the cable company. Mm-hmm. That's my job. I take a beating for the cable company. And every now and again, it'll get to you. You get beat enough, you're gonna, it'll get to you. So, if I can find a little bit of escape through something else like that, I'm all for it.
Just sitting here thinking a lot of people would answer that question by like, oh, I get out and ride my bike, or...
And that's probably what I need to do. Maybe I do.
Or like, I crawl in a hole and put on headphones.
Well, maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe starting to go to the rec center, I'll fall in love with getting that activity.
I know when we were doing Planet Fitness, I always did feel better after we went in there.
Yeah, I read something in one of my Facebook memories not too long ago from back in those days where I said I hit a wall, I was over it, and I said, well, I'm just going to hit this mark and then that'll be it. But right before I hit the mark, I just suddenly felt better, and it was like, I can keep doing this. And it was, it was a good post, but that was like 10 years ago. So
we were doing so good there for a while.
Yeah, we were.
All right. Would you trade 10% of your sanity to become 10% smarter?
No.
No.
I'm pretty smart.
Never, never, never.
Yeah. And if I were crazy, I'd start doing crazy shit. Which people doing crazy shit, they have they end up losing their jobs and their families and all that other bullshit. What to be smarter what? What are you gonna do if you're crazy and you're smart? You know what that is? That's a fucking supervillain.
I might trade 10% of my intelligence to be 10% more sane.
Yeah.
Like to be able to more rationally figure things out, or more succinctly put things together.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That's a recipe for a supervillain. That's what that is.
Yeah. That's kind of a dumb question.
That's the Joker shit right there.
I like how your instinct to that was I'm already smart enough, and my instinct to that was I can't stand to lose any more of my sanity. Oh my goodness. All right, your turn.
All right. Let's see. What's your most embarrassing phobia? I know what it is for you.
Really?
The bugs.
No. Yeah. I don't know if that's embarrassing though, because a lot of people are afraid of bugs.
Yeah.
There was a bug in the bathroom when you were in the hospital. And I was like, God damn it.
I got the phone call. You got to come home. I don't care what test you're waiting on.
Look, we know it's not a heart attack. Get your ass home. There's a bug in the bathroom.
Walk, motherfucker. Get home.
I didn't catch that bug. I went to a different bathroom. So I don't know what happened to that bug. He's still around here somewhere. And don't you think every time I walk in that bathroom, I look around first? I don't know. What do you have any phobia? You don't really have phobias.
Well, snakes. But like you said, everybody's got a fear of snakes. So I guess I'm not really afraid of a whole bunch.
I have a phobia. I guess it's I I had a white coat phobia for a while.
Yeah.
The doctor.
One of the few times I've ever panicked, there was me and my brother were in the ocean. There was 2 times I panicked when I was in the ocean. We're out off the coast of Hatteras. The water was a little sandy, so you can't really see in it. A lot of times it's blue and beautiful, but today it was real sandy. And I'm sitting there, I got my hands in the water, and I felt my hand hit a fish. I don't know what kind of fish it was, but I got the hell out of that as quick as I possibly could, because I didn't know what kind of fish it was. You're right. I've seen Jaws enough to know. And then the other time, again, same situation. It was like the next year we were in the water and having a good time. And then both of us saw the biggest damn stingray jump out of the water about 20 yards out. So it was quite the amazing thing to see. You see these things and they jump out of the water. And then we realized it jumped out of the water to get away from something. So we need to get the hell out of this water. So we both got out.
Remember the time you went out into the ocean and you lost your pants?
Yeah. Believe it or not, that's happened more than once. So
I believe it. I'm not saying believe it or not. I believe it.
Yeah.
All right. Who can drive you crazy in 5 minutes or less?
Richard.
Yeah?
Oh, Scott can. He does it. He really does it.
He doesn't drive you crazy in a bad way, though.
No.
You enjoy being driven crazy like that.
Yeah. But we'll get to talking about whatever, and he'll say something just completely outrageous. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, that, or sometimes Chuck, because it's like, Jesus, dude, what are you doing now? But, yeah, those two, they'll drive me crazy. But I'm sure I drive them crazy, too.
You probably do.
You know.
Well, you guys try to drive each other crazy.
That's true.
That's like the point of your whole interactions is to try to piss each other off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best friends, love them to death, would do anything for them. But
yeah, it's adversary, not in a mean way. It's just like they're always picking at each other, and
yeah.
I have some names, one in particular.
Yeah.
That can drive me crazy in much less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I won't say it.
Oh. Well, I'll figure that out after the little.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah, I know, but still.
His name starts with a W. Yeah, thanks. His name starts with a W.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't say any more about that.
Yeah. Robin knows. Shout out Robin. All right. When you're alone, do you talk to yourself out loud? Who doesn't?
I do.
Yeah. That's not even like a crazy thing. People, it's one way to. I'll talk to myself when I'm talking on the phone with customers. I'll just start murmuring on while I'm looking at their accounts, and well, it's not that. Let's see if we. Oh, there it is. And then they're just listening along. Just okay, this guy's trying to figure it out and talking to himself. That's great. But that's what you do.
I'm pretty sure everybody talks to themselves out loud when they're by themselves. Come on.
Yeah.
Are you city or country?
I would put you somewhere in between. You're suburban.
I'm suburban. You are probably suburban now, but you were country at heart.
Yeah, I wasn't always this sophisticated and civilized when I first came out here.
How do you think living in more suburban areas changed you?
Well, I don't piss outside anymore. That's a big thing. That was kind of a staple for me back in the day. I gotta take a piss. Let me go over to this tree over here at this corner. Especially when we're in Charles City.
Were you just hanging out outside?
Yeah, we.
As a kid, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you mean as an adult?
Even into my 20s. When I was in my 20s, I'd go to visit Billy when he was still living in Charles City.
Uh-huh.
I remember clearly one time we got out of the car, we were going to go in the house, and he was like, yeah, I think that was Augustine down the road. I said, that's great. I got to take a piss real quick. I'll be in a second. Just walked away.
Instead of going into the house and going to the bathroom?
Yeah, because I was right there in the yard. So I'm taking a piss, and sure as shit, Augustine pulls into the yard. So I'm like trying to turn, so I'm not pissing in his direction, but I'm not pointing at Billy either. So.
What have I done?
Hey, it's your fault. You saw the scary van.
Funny you never told me that before. I mean, I knew when you were a kid you used to do it, but I didn't realize as an adult you still did that.
Yeah, well, it's a thing. How come I got 2 and you got 1?
Because you're next.
Oh, that's right. Okay. How often do you know you're right, but let it go to avoid an argument?
100% of the time.
Really? I feel like I do that for you sometimes. Like I'll let it go. You might not seem to believe that, but I will. Now, granted, it's after you've pointed it out that I need to let it go, but
Okay.
moving on.
What's the best piece of marital advice ever given to you?
Ooh. Well, I mean, the standard don't go to bed angry, but
Happy wife, happy life.
yeah, but I don't think anyone ever. I mean, honestly, like I clearly remember my sister-in-law saying, you know, you're going to be great at being a husband.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to be great at being a husband, and she was right.
She was right.
I admit it. I know I'm a good husband. I do. I see people out and about in the world and listen to people talk about their spouses, and I'm like, you know, that's not how you do that. That's you know, and it's you know, it's. I know that I do a good job as a husband. I don't make no bones about it. I'm not trying to brag. I mean, seriously, folks, it's not terribly fucking difficult to do this. So.
Depends on what you're working with.
Mm. Well,
If I was a high
the gold
maintenance, I'm not. Well, I kind of am high maintenance. You do a lot for me.
It's just nothing, though. It's really nothing.
It's not nothing. He does the laundry, makes my lunch every day, drives me to work every day, does the grocery shopping.
Yeah, but you look at like Chuck, and he's rebuilding the house every other day, and it's Jesus.
I think we both had lots of good examples around us.
True that.
Growing up, and a lot of the, you know, our parents, and of course, like your brothers and my sister who's married, and our close friends have all had lasting relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's by example.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you love the person and you make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, last question.
Oh, it's on me.
You're having a hard time figuring this you one thing out.
Have you ever turned down an opportunity because of fear? Who hasn't?
I do that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you know, opportunity knocks, and believe it or not, knocks way more than once. I know it says, you know, the old expression is opportunity only knocks one time. One at a time, it knocks frequently, but you know, you jump on.
Sometimes it knocks like this. Sometimes it knocks like this.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, you know, you pick your battles though. You pick your opportunities. Some of them you may look at the opportunities because, like when crypto first came out, I was interested in it, but I was like, you know what? I think sooner or later the government's going to shut this down. It's too, you know, out of their control, and I'm still not convinced that the government's not going to shut it down. But you know, had I not had that fear, we could have had a ton of money by now. I was, you know.
I mean, we did jump in on the crypto.
Yeah, but I'm talking about early on, like when Bitcoin first started coming out. When it was
the big thing.
I was just thinking, man, I could probably jump on that, and you know, it might turn into something. And crypto did, but I mean, I just didn't because I thought sooner or later the government is, and I still feel like sooner or later the government is going to shut that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
I have, we have our $50 investment, which is now worth $12.75.
Shit, lost that money.
Yeah.
We're in Dogecoin.
Mm-hmm. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, we could cash out.
Retirement money.
Yeah. And the thing of it is, I know that they're looking at ways for the government to have its own cryptocurrency.
Just a bad idea. Russia can hack into everything.
Well, the blockchain prevents it, but
sure.
The bigger problem, I think the whole reason that the government doesn't like it is the banks don't really like it, because when you make a transaction, when you are just using your ATM to buy something at Target, let's say, there are 17 different organizations that have their finger in that pie. That money touches and goes through, and they all take a little minuscule chunk of it, but it's getting that it's like the thing from Superman 3 where Richard Pryor's character took the remainder of some of these transactions, little fractions of a penny, and diverted those fractions of a penny into an account, and after a day he had $300,000. It does happen. So when these fractions of a penny, these organizations that get that little chunk, well, crypto took all of that out. So money was moving, wealth was moving from here to there. All of these organizations and institutions weren't getting their chunk of it. They hate that shit. So that's, that's why I think eventually it's going to shut down. But then the government is trying to figure out how to tax it and how to get into it. So I don't know how that's going to work. They're going to fuck it up, I mean, for sure, but yeah.
I just know what I have in my bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, people. We're
right.
hitting the hour and 5 minutes.
No, that's good.
So
that's good time frame.
It's a good amount. It's a good amount of yakking.
Yeah.
All right. So
like, follow, share on YouTube and Spotify. Even if you just listen, turn it on, and then fast forward through. If you don't want to listen to us on Spotify, it just helps our numbers. And then the Cash App at our $KRoseVA.
Yeah. Enjoy your last week of April, friends. May is almost here.
Weather's starting to get good out there. Go out and enjoy it.
You know what? May's going to get here, and then June comes, and we're on vacation for a week at the beach.
June, my birthday. Yeah.
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 All right, y'all. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.